Hello students, today we are going to start with our next topic of this chapter, solutions, that is ideal and non-ideal solutions. Now yesterday we had discussed Henry's law and Raoult's law, and we have seen that there are many similarities in both of the laws. Both of them relate to the pressure as well as the mole fraction. But in Raoult's law we understood that it is for that case where we have two volatile components which are forming a binary solution, whereas it is not in the case of Henry's law. In Henry's law we talk about the gases. Now we are discussing about ideal and non-ideal solution. To understand this concept, we have to first of all know what is Raoult's law. If you are not knowing what is Raoult's law, you should or you must watch the previous video of Raoult's law where we had discussed all these things in detail. So today we are going to start with the ideal and non-ideal solutions. Let us see what do we mean by ideal solutions. So ideal solutions are the binary solution which obey Raoult's law under all the condition of temperature and concentration. What does it mean? It means that this equation where P total equal to P naught A XA plus P naught B XB, this equation or this condition is followed at every concentration range or at every temperature range. No matter what is the concentration of any one of the component, or no matter what is the temperature of the surroundings, when this solution follows this Raoult's law over entire range, then it is said to be ideal solution. But in reality no ideal solution exists, means no solution can be 100% ideal. But if we take some dilute solutions, when we dilute some solutions, we can get somewhat, but not completely 100%. Now today we are going to discuss next thing, that is the conditions for the ideal solutions. What are the various conditions by which we can tell that the solutions can be ideal? First of all thing should be that the interactions AA and BB must equalize AB interactions. What does this mean? This means that when we talk about the two components in the solution, so the force of attraction between the same components in the solution. For example, we have two components, we have component A and we have component B. Suppose in this one we have two components A and B, and both of them are having force of attraction, means A particles are attracting A and B particles are attracting B. In that case this attraction should equalize AB attraction also, means the two particles should have interaction among themselves also as well as interaction with each other, and this should be equalized. Second is no heat should be evolved or absorbed on mixing the solutions. When we mix the two components or to form the binary solution, that time if no heat is absorbed or evolved, we can say that the solution is ideal. Next is no volume change should be made, means when you take 5 ml of one component and 5 ml of another component, and when you mix them, 10 ml of the solution must only be prepared, neither 9 ml neither 11 ml. If 0.1 ml change is also seen, that means it is not ideal solution. There are some examples of ideal solution like N-hexane, N-heptane, benzene, toluene, chlorobenzene and bromobenzene. And there is also one more, that is ethyl iodide and ethyl bromide. So those can also be here the examples of ideal solutions. The next topic is non-ideal solutions. Now it is very easy to understand that those solutions which will not follow Raoult's law over conditions of concentration and temperature will be non-ideal solution, means in that case this PA equal to P naught A XA would not be satisfied. Similarly for PB also, and hence P total, that is the total vapor pressure of the solution, will not partial vapor pressures or the sum of the partial vapor pressure of the components. So these will be not equalized. Now in this case, when we talk about non-ideal solutions, we have two solutions. One solution is that which shows positive deviation from Raoult's law, and the second is that which shows negative deviation from Raoult's law. Now what does this mean? Positive deviation means when the individual particles are attracting themselves only, means A particles are attracting A and B are attracting B only. This attraction is more rather than AB. In that case it will show positive deviation. Now very simple thing to understand this is like that. Suppose you have here the two components A and B, and you are keeping them in a mixture. So in a briefly we can say that the PA, that is the partial pressure of A, will be greater than P naught A XA, and similarly PB will be greater than P naught B XB. And we know that P total is equals to sum of these two, but since PA and PB are more, that's why we'll say that this condition, this overall will be lesser than P total, because PA and PB are more. So P total is already equal to what? P total is equals to PA plus PB. Hence this P total will increase overall, and this P naught A XA and P naught B XB will be lesser. When we mix the solutions, delta V mix is also greater than 0, means there is change in volume observed, and this will be positive only. Volume will increase more than expected. Similarly, delta H mix will also increase, means the heat on mixing will increase or will be greater than 0. It means that it will be endothermic reaction, where we have to provide the heat, so that if we have to form the solution, then we have to provide the heat. This is the condition for positive deviation. Look carefully in the graphs. You can see this graph shows positive deviation, where we have known that this is P naught A, okay, and this line which is PA. Similarly, this is P naught B here, but this line shows PB, this green line. But because it is showing positive deviation, it means that it will be now greater, because it is more positively deviated. So P total will also be deviated more than expected. Now there are some examples like ethanol and cyclohexane, methanol water, ethanol and water, acetone and ethanol. Then there is chloroform and carbon tetrachloride. So these are those which show the positive deviation from the Raoult's law. Now comes the another one which are showing the negative deviation from the Raoult's law. In this negative deviation, we have AB interactions more than AA and BB. Leaving this, we also understand one more thing, that the heat of mixing will be lesser than 0, means when we mix these two, this will be exothermic, and volume of mixing will also be less than 0, means they will immediately mix and the volume overall will decrease. In that case, you should know that the individual partial pressures will be greater than the P total, means the sum total of the individual partial pressures will be greater than the total pressure of the whole solution. The examples are chloroform and benzene, nitric acid and water, hydrochloric acid and water, and acetone and chloroform. So these are the examples of those solutions which show negative deviation from Raoult's law. Coming next, we have the last topic for today, that is azeotropes. Now what is the meaning of azeotropes? Azeotropes are those solutions which boil at constant temperature, means they have a constant temperature. When they boil, they will be having a constant temperature. Suppose they boil at 80 degrees Celsius, so this temperature will be maintained without undergoing the change in composition. Means always whenever the solution will boil, this solution will always boil at that temperature only, that is 80 degrees Celsius. It will be constantly boiling on that 80 degrees Celsius. So when these solutions boil at the constant temperature, those solutions are known as azeotropes. Now there are two types of azeotropes. The one is minimum boiling azeotropes, means their boiling point is attained very early. They have lower boiling point. Such solutions are known to have positive deviation. They show positive deviation from Raoult's law. Example is ethanol plus water. Second is maximum boiling azeotropes. Maximum boiling azeotropes are those which are known to have greater boiling point, and these will be showing the negative deviation from the Raoult's law. Example is nitric acid and water. Now we will solve one question for today. The question is, two liquids X and Y on mixing form ideal solutions. Okay, we have two liquids are given, that is one is X and one is Y. The vapor pressure of solution containing 3 moles of X and 1 mole of Y is 50 mm Hg. So this 50 mm Hg is P total in case number 1. So we will write case 1. In case 1 we have P total, and what is the formula of P total? P naught A XA plus P naught B XB. P total given is 550 mm Hg equal to P naught A XA plus P naught B XB. Now what is XA and what is XB in this one? So instead of XA, what can we write? Because we have to calculate the mole fraction. So how to calculate? So we have to know the moles, and moles are already given. So we can write here P naught A, and in the bracket we'll write Na upon Na plus Nb Similarly, here P naught B in the bracket NB upon Na plus Nb. Solving this, what do we get? For this P naught A, after this we put the value of these moles, that is the value of first is 3, so 3 upon 3 plus 1, that is 4. This is P naught A plus P naught B is 1 upon 4. Okay, or I can say that 550 equal to 3 P naught A by 4 plus 1 plus P naught B by 4. This is our equation number 1. Now if you know one more thing we can do is that we can take here LCM and then we can send this 4 over there. So multiplying this 4 over there, what do we get? Suppose I have taken the common LCM, that is my common LCM comes 4. Now I have to send this towards there. So when I send this towards there, what do I get? In this condition, I will get here 2200 on sending it there. So 2200 equal to thrice of P naught A plus P naught B. Okay, this is my first equation. Second equation is, but when 4 mole of X and 1 mole of Y are mixed, the vapor pressure is 560 mmHg. Only the moles are changed. So in case number 2, what do we have? In case number 2, we have 4 moles of X and 1 mole of Y to form 560 mmHg. So 4 moles of X. Let us write here P naught A and 4 upon 5 plus P naught B and here 1 upon 5 means 560 equal to 4 times P naught A upon 5 plus P naught B upon 5. Sending this 5 over there, multiplying it, I get 2800 equal to 4 times of P naught A plus P naught B. This is my second equation. So I have formed two equations. The one equation is this. This is my first equation. And this is my second equation. What I am going to do is now that I am going to now equate these two. So on equating these two equations, what do I get? So at one place means I will subtract now. Okay, so I will take here, I will write here subtracting and subtracting 1 from 2. So let us put here 2800 means second equation I will put first is 4 times P naught A plus P naught B, and the second one we have 2200 equal to thrice of P naught A plus P naught B. As I am subtracting, I will put here minus and here minus. This gets cancelled. So here I get P naught A equal to how much? When we solve this, so we get here 600. So my P naught A is 600. Okay, means P naught A I have got 600 mmHg. Now how to find out the P naught B? You can put in any one of the values. Suppose I find this P naught A. Now I am putting it in equation number 1. Okay, we'll put it equation number 2. So we'll get 2800 equal to 4 times of 600 plus P naught B. Solving this, I will get P naught B equal to 400 mmHg. So we have found the individual vapor pressures of the pure components A and B. In next class, we are going to study about the next topic, that is the colligative properties.